Okay, guys, guess what? Guess what today? Well, it's not today, it's coming. As I'm filming this, it is April 20th, but my birthday is on April 26th. And I usually go all overboard and buy myself a huge, crazy, ridiculous birthday gift. This year is slightly more to date. I've bought myself books and a couple of other things, but this I've decided is gonna be my birthday book haul. So, we are gonna start off with this friggin' box from Book Depository. I know what it is. It took them until, forever to get it to me. I love Book Depository, but it makes me very anxious to order shit and I don't get a tracking number. Is it always like trying to crack Nazi code to get to this? Okay, so, yay! A Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light. Now, I ordered all three of these together because I've been on that kick lately where I just order all the books at once and I hope I like them because otherwise I've driven myself nuts for no reason. But this one actually shipped a day after these two. I got this one a week and a half ago and these two I just got today. So I don't know if the leasing people forgot to call me and tell me, hey, you have a package, or they were waiting for Jesus to personally deliver it himself. I don't know. But I'm just super excited. God, these are huge. Package number dos. I've been trying to get my hands on this book for months. I could never find it in a price that I wanted. Illuminae. I'm so late to this bandwagon. Oh my god. But Gemina. This looks so cool. Gemina is out. And I believe there's a third one that we're supposed to be getting like a cover reveal soon if we haven't already gotten it. But this looks awesome. I love sci-fi. And the fact that it's told through like all letters and emails and stuff. Like, I don't know if you've ever read any of Meg Cabot's books, but I believe it was it The Boy Next Door or something about the Boy Next Door. That book was written like their whole interaction through emails and text messages, and I loved it. So this should be awesome. And what is this I see through here that says? I love how it's got shit blacked out. That's so cool. Ow. Feel the cover. First book I'm gonna read and I'm done with my retellings. And then the rest of them are, of course, me and my Goodwill hauls. So there is Built and Charged by Jay Crownover, which is really awesome. This book was, I believe, the first book in years that did I read this on? It was not the first one. This is the first contemporary book that I ever read on audiobook. And I told you I don't very often read contemporary romance novels, but this one is awesome. It is the first book in a little sub-series called Saints of Denver. And then I believe this is the second, and it was awesome to me that I found them both in the same store like that day because I read this one, wanted to read this one. I have them both on ebook and this one on audiobook, but I like having physical copies, so I now have 3 copies of this one. I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is a really cool one. This guy who is, of course, supposed to be this rough and tumble, super bearded dude that got out of jail for, something that wasn't really his fault, and he was protecting someone. Ended up going to jail, doing some time. Came out, relocated to somewhere his best friend stayed. Met his best friend's sister, who is basically this very scared, vulnerable, but also super uptight, like Ice Queen lawyer. And it's a really cool story. I like it, and I actually think I want to read this again now. And this one, I didn't read the synopsis too much, but I liked the first one so much that I wanted the second one. I actually have the whole series on ebook. But this one, the guy, Quaid, is one of Zeb, who is the hero from this book, one of his friends, and he is a lawyer, and pink hair chick is actually one of his clients that at first he thought just was a punk. Clearly, he got over that. And then I got Splintered, which I have been looking at in the bookstore. It's supposed to be some kind of Alice in Wonderland retelling. I may get to it this month since I DNF'd one of my books. I didn't read too closely into it, but it's got to do with some kind of madness. It's supposed to be a dark retelling, I think. I haven't read any reviews on it either, so we'll see. I have no idea what I'm getting to with this one. And then Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren, and I actually have this whole series on ebook and I have not gotten to it yet, but whenever I get something in ebook, it's usually because it's cheaper, and then if I see the physical copy for $1 like this one was, I just go ahead and pick it up because I like having the physical ones. It's just cheaper to get ebooks because I get a lot of them on those $1.99 days or whatever, and that's actually how speaking of which, I also bought Red Rising, which I got for $1.99. It was $1.99 yesterday or the day before on Amazon in the Kindle store. So that was another one that I get for cheap, and again, that's why I buy ebooks, because they'll be cheaper, and then once I see them in physical copy later, if I really like the book, I'll buy it, especially if it's cheap. Now this one I haven't read yet, and I actually believe this one used to be fan fiction. I'm not sure, but I've heard awesome things about this one. Didn't I just say in my last video I don't read contemporary? I'm such a fucking liar. I got Seeing Red by Frank Beda, which is a Alice in Wonderland retelling, but it's the freaking second one in the series, but it looks so awesome. It's a dark Alice retelling in which Alice is at this point ruling Wonderland after whatever happened in the first book. Red, R-E-D-D, who is this woman right here, I believe is the Queen of Hearts. Apparently she wasn't vanquished well enough because she came back. So I don't know, but it looked really awesome. It's like a dark fantasy. If you can see, I'll blow up the cover of this, but like down on the bottom, her freaking gown has teeth. I also, uno momento. I also got all of these books, which to me are classics. I would never not own them. These are Julie Garwood's historical romance novels. They are either Normans and Saxons or English and Highlanders. There's always some kind of like cultural tension between the two, like the two main characters. I had them all. I used to buy them from the used bookstore when I was a teenager. My mom had them all. And because me, my mom, and my sister had them all, they got all jumbled up. We don't know who's who. So we just all got into the habit of getting them again. And just whoever picks up the other ones, whatever, and then we just have our own that we don't get mixed up with each other's from when we all live together. I love these books. These are my absolute favorites. I don't care how cheesy people think historical romance are. I love them. And then 2 of these I also got in duplicates because I'm going to send them to my sister. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on because I have a horrible migraine, and now the migraine's getting worse because my dumb ass is just squinting at the camera. I can't tell if the little thing is still blinking, or I don't know what kind of decisions I've been making with my life lately, but I'm fucking them up. Into the Fire by Janine Frost. Now, this was a book that I was supposed to read for Read-A-Rama Readathon, and I never got to it. I bought the ebook the day it came out because I needed this book. I've been wanting to read. This is the completion of a 4-part series about Vlad Tepes, who is Dracula, and it is straight trashy romance, and I love it. Well, it's not, complete trashy romance. It's not as bad. It's not historical romance novels. There's actual plot, but I won't go over it again because I went over it in my Read-A-Rama Readathon TBR video. But this book is only a couple months old, and it was already in the thrift store, so sometimes I really love that. Which, speaking of which, there's another book I forgot about. Where did you go, my love? So, speaking of which, I also found Daughter of the Pirate King at a thrift store, and this sucker just came out. Pretty sure it was in March. So yeah, and it's in perfect, pristine condition, and I found it at a thrift store. And I also got Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I do believe I also have this on ebook, or I had it on ebook. It was one of those Kindle Unlimited. It's on there for a little while and you get it for free, and then I turned off my subscription for Kindle Unlimited before I even read this, so I didn't have it anymore. And then I found it in hardcover, and I'm a total whore lately for hardcover books. And this one is in pristine condition, and I have heard amazing things about it, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, that was that as far as the new releases. And speaking of new releases, I also found in the Giant Bucket of Doom, Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. So that's cool. I still really don't know how I feel about reading it. I've heard good and bad things. I've heard that it has some racist aspects, and then I heard that people who felt like it had racist aspects were reaching, and they're just both from people of color and otherwise on both sides of that spectrum. So I kind of want to judge for myself. This is also one I was supposed to get to for Read-A-Rama Readathon, and I never got to it because I failed epically at it. But yeah, super excited for that one. And then I found this awesome book by Mercedes Lackey, which is called One Good Night. I believe when I opened it, it said something about dragons and virgin sacrifice, and Acadia. Oh, Acadia is the town. Whoops. Andromeda ends up being the virgin that's gonna be sacrificed, and there's a knight that's gonna rescue her, and Homegirl rescues her damn self before he ever gets there. So it looked pretty cool. I keep seeing Mercedes Lackey's book everywhere, and they look really amazing. It is high fantasy, I believe. I just kind of skimmed. I didn't read too much into it. That's just my thing lately, not wanting to go into them kind of blind. So there's that. And then this book I've seen in the store many times, A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. My camera cut off my last two freaking books, so I don't know how far I got into my description of this one, but basically it is about a scholar who is archiving some books, and she comes across a magic book. And from there, I believe there is world traveling apparently. And she's basically discovering a history of witches, or witchcraft, I guess, in her own family, as well as just in general. And it's supposed to be very adventurous, it's supposed to be suspenseful, it's supposed to be romance. And I believe this is the first in a trilogy. And then, lastly, My Mission of Self-Control. We have All I Need Is You by Johanna Lindsey, which is a historical one, but a more recent historical, like late 1800s, early 1900s, or like 1940s, 50s, I think. Yeah, so the family ranch was given to her brother, and apparently he's crap at it, so Casey steps in to run it, and apparently she's very good at riding and shooting, which is not ladylike at all. And her family want her to do woman's work because she is of marrying age, and to quit all this riding and shooting and ranch running and carrying on. Don't ask me what that was, but yeah, that was it. So in addition to that, I got the two orchids that I mentioned in my, I don't know which other video that was, but I've got two more orchids, bringing my collection up to 10 at the moment. So for myself, I splurged and bought a 35-gallon terrarium that sits in a corner. It's kind of like half hexagon, rhombus, what the fuck ever. It'll sit in the corner, and I turn it into a terrarium, and it comes with a stand. And I also found just pretty cool, like a 4-foot fucking chameleon enclosure, which I'm going to turn into a terrarium / vivarium. And eventually, once it's not, you know, breaking my lease, I'll put a chameleon in there. But it'll be good because with Denver being so dry right now, and I can't control whether it's the air or the heat on in my building, they haven't decided it's warm enough for the air yet, so I have all the windows open, and they're drying out my poor orchids, which needs it to be really humid. So I'm going to put them into the terrarium and make a very cool, like, jungle vivarium type scene. It'll be awesome. But I'm getting them on Craigslist, so if this is the last video I ever make, tell my mom I'm sorry, because she hates that Craigslist shit. She's going to tell me I told you so. But yeah, so if you like this video, once again, my utter lack of self-control, but it wasn't bad. I did show some restraint. All that stuff and the terrariums total, I think I was like right around $100. And considering I bought myself a Camaro before for my birthday, this ain't bad. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and if you push that little bell button, doodabi majigger, you will get a notification when I upload. That's cool, yeah? So yeah, and also comment. I respond to all my comments. If I haven't responded, it's because I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, that's all I have for you today, guys. Don't forget to post some questions for the Q&A. I'm close to 100 subscribers, and hopefully I will get there. And if I do, I will do a Q&A, or do you want me to post something else instead? What are your ideas? Or if you just want me to do the Q&A, post some questions. But give me an idea for a video for the 100 subscribers. And that's all I have for you today, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Bye.